I'm once again visiting Västerås, the second ugliest town in Sweden after Borlänge. But I'm not here to look at questionable architecture. I'm here to look at retro computers and retro games. Retrogathering takes place twice per year, in spring and in fall. This is the fall exhibition, and the bigger of the two. The first gathering took place in 2005, and it's been a staple among retro geeks in Sweden since then. There's a lot to see and do here, and something that surprises me is that it's not just old farts like me. There's also young kids who are interested in the games of olden days. I missed the Street Fighter 2 Turbo Championship because I wanted to sleep in, but there's still a lot of events happening here today. There's a retro auction and a talk by Carl-Henrik Skårstedt, veteran game developer from platforms such as the Genesis or Mega Drive up until modern days. And also a Super Mario Bros. Championship, as well as the Swedish Championships in Pong. Exciting times are ahead of us here at Retrogathering, but first, let's check out the marketplace. It's a wee bit crowded in here, but I'm happy that it's popular. A Barbie game, how topical, even though it's 30 years old. $899 for Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. Let this be a lesson, kids. Don't sell off your games. Swedish video games development from the 50s to the 90s. I think that something may have happened since then. The Nerds Bar in Stockholm is apparently looking to open franchises in other cities. I hope they do. I love that place. I'm happy that only retro geeks are gonna watch this video. Otherwise I'd have to explain that yes, there was a time when games loaded on tape. What's this? Deluxe Paint 3 for the Amiga in a box. I barely knew that it was for sale. Everyone had a pirated copy when I grew up. I think you're the only cosplayer here. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah.
How come you decided to cosplay at the Retrogathering?
Because it's fun, and I really like to cosplay, and I just want to be the only guy to stick out, so...
You definitely do. That's an amazing costume.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're selling a lot of magazines here. Datormagazin Retro. What is the content about?
We write primarily about C64 and 128, of course, and Amiga, and all the computers and programming related to that era. And this magazine is one of Sweden's first IT magazines, you could say. And we started this retro version about 7 years ago now, actually, on Kickstarter. And since then, we've made one issue every year. And we're planning a new one this fall, and it's really fun to work with, and it's really appreciated amongst the readers.
Is it mostly about old games, or is it also new games that are being developed?
It's mostly about old games, but then again, I mean, the community is alive and well still, and there's new, as you know, there's new games developed for these platforms, so we write about them as well. But yeah, they have to be on the Commodore platform for us to cover it, basically.
The retro auction is the highlight of Retrogathering for many people. It's usually filled with exciting retro items, from hardware to old games. This time it doesn't really seem like there's a lot of stuff to auction off. I really like that Mirror's Edge statue, though. I have a feeling that the price isn't going to be low enough for me to make a bid, but I'm tempted. It would look really nice next to my computer, wouldn't it?
En radiofin spelkonsol från slutet på 70-talet. 200 kronor. Patriot Increase Burden. 50 kronor. 100 kronor har vi. 150. 200. Och så har vi samlat in det här. Det är spelserien Mirror's Edge. Stage you by 3/4. 200. 200. 300. 400.
Bloody hell, I think I bought myself a statue. 400 crowns, that's decent, isn't it? Where am I gonna put it? But oh well, I'm happy either way. Hatsune Miku as well as Asuka. I need to be careful or I'm gonna buy everything here. PS3 and PS4 games, I really hope that those are not retro yet. That's the danger of having authentic old hardware. You know it's a proper old Super Nintendo when it's completely yellow. That Mario head is looking a little bit gruesome, isn't it? Super Mario Bros. Is a game that doesn't need any introductions, but I'm gonna introduce it anyway. This iconic platformer from 1985 took the world by storm and it launched a $1 billion franchise. It's also a pretty damn good game. This is a competition to determine the fastest Super Mario player in Sweden. The competition starts with finishing the first level as quickly as possible, and then the number of levels increase over time. And finally, the end goal is to finish the whole game as quickly as possible. There have been previous competitions like this at Retrogathering, but this is the first time I watch it. I used to be pretty good at Super Mario as a kid, but these days I die at the first Goomba. Good thing there are such excellent players as the ones competing today instead.
Det är lite av en typisk fight faktiskt. Det känns så värdigt att förlora mot Mikhail som jag vet är så sjukt duktig och han är bättre än mig. Så att, helt rätt vinnare, jättekul. 5:e gången ju. Det är en applåd till här.
This is Mikhail, the 5-time champion in Super Mario Brothers. So you've been playing for a long time, I guess.
Yes, that's true. I guess you can say that I've grown up on the game, as many people did. But then I have competed in the game for many years as well. So from 2010 and forward, have I been participating in competitions like this.
Everything looked so simple when you were playing, but which stage do you think is hardest?
Now I had most trouble with World 8-3, but if I would be completely honest, I would say level 1-2, because that's the part where most bad things can happen, and bad things can happen early in the tournament as well. That ruins your chance to, continue.
Yeah, and I guess it kills morale as well if something goes bad in the beginning.
Yes, more is at stake, so to say.
Are you gonna win next year as well, do you think?
I hope to at least be participating in the next tournament, if there is one. And to win, that would be very humbling and nice as well, but I mostly look forward to just playing again.
Here's a big group of people at the Embrased Games Archive. So what's this all about?
My name is David, and we are creating an archive for all video games in the whole world in physical format, and games released for the home consumer market. So it's the games, it's the consoles, it's the computers, and all the accessories. So we've been doing this for around 2 years now, and we have today about 80,000 objects in the archive. So we have a lifelong mission ahead of us, and it's very important for us that the games in the archive can be of use to help promote the video game industry and the video game culture. So we really want to help out researchers, school classes, and educations, and also like this today, an exhibition where we can showcase, for example, the Sega SG-1000, which is Sega's first console for the home consumer market.
Right, that was the predecessor to the Mark III, right?
Yes, that's the first one, which were released '83, the same day as the Famicom. But it's been living in the shadow of the Famicom, as we used to say here. So it's very nice to promote it so more people can actually see it. And also see here we are showcasing every official game that were released for it. So I think it's around 74 games. So we have a lot of visitors here today who really been happy to try it out.
Yeah.
So we are happy about that. And also that we can spread the word of our unique archive.
What do you think is the most interesting piece of archived game you have here?
I think it's this game that we have presented here today. I think it's a really, really interesting example of a Sega game released for the SG-1000. It's called Girl's Garden, where you play as a girl, which is kind of unusual for the time. But then it gets more normal because you are a girl, you are collecting flowers because there is a boy that you like. And this boy might leave you if you don't collect said amount of flowers and give them to him before he goes to another girl.
Sounds very Japanese somehow.
Very, very Japanese.
It's the debut title for one of the co-creators of Sonic the Hedgehog, and also the composer for this was Hiroshi, that made the music for example, Space Harrier.
Pong is one of the oldest video games in existence. At Retrogathering, you can see the Swedish Championships in Pong. This is a proper competition for cyber athletes that think that Counter-Strike lacks action. Many people think that Pong was the first video game, but that's of course not true. Tennis for Two, for example, was another earlier game with a similar concept. But it was never mass-produced because it needed an oscilloscope, so it's not perfect for a competition like this. But anyway, let's have a look at this thrilling and riveting competition to see who will be crowned the Swedish champion of Pong in 2023.
visar ännu en gång sina mad skills. Barkis vill verkligen inte lämna sin plats.
Tänk 0-0 nej. Fokus!
Dave kommer tillbaka. Stort grattis Barkis boy som ännu en gång blir svensk pongmästare.
This is Barkis Boy, the Swedish champion in Pong. So, do you have any tips for how to get good at Pong?
My biggest tip is just during the competition try to focus and relax.
Focus and relax. Yeah. Is that everything?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess so. I haven't really practiced a lot before, so...
So you're natural at it?
I guess so.
Congratulations and awesome gameplay.
Thank you.
And that's about it for a quick look at Retrogathering 2023, the fall edition. I hope you found it interesting. Now like and subscribe, but remember to stay geeky. Also, check out this video for even more retro geekiness.